All right, Code Ninjas, welcome to HTML Theater starring Mr. Hicks. Here's the next project intro. So basically in the first project 7.01, we use some of the most basic HTML tags to show how to display text and headings and paragraphs and hyperlinks. I moved images to this project because there's a little bit more to it. So we're going to use the image tag img. And for the image tag, you must tell us where the image is. So this example down here in this picture, dog.jpg is actually in the project. So I'll show you how to save that. That's a local image. If it's a web image, you can save it instead of dog.jpg, you would give the URL to the web image. So I'm going to display that. The alt is English description of what the image is in case it doesn't load. Also for sometimes the sight impaired people, they might have a reader that reads the web page, so it describes what the image is for those that can't see the image on their screen. Okay, so we're going to open the template in a moment, rename it and fork it. The content can be anything. I'm going to use Pixar's Up to get a few images because there's some cute things there. We're going to use the image tags, use the hyperlink tag to hyperlink the images. So when I click on a picture, it'll go somewhere else. And then, so we're going to have, let's see down here, at least 4 images. 2 of them, we're going to link to the web address, the URL. And 2 of them we're going to save right inside our project, and we're going to make a folder called images. And then I'm going to show you how to link at least one of them with the anchor tag, the A. So if they click on the picture, it goes to, say, the Wikipedia page. Okay, so let me begin by opening the template. So it's loading. Okay, so here we go. This is the basic template. I talked about these tags in the previous lesson, so I'll let you look at that video if you want. I'm going to fork this for myself so I can, I don't blow up my template. Okay, so I'm going to call this CSP project 7.02 HTML images. And there we go. Okay, so I'm going to call this project 7.02. By the way, this is a comment. The way you do comments in HTML is these arrows with the exclamation point. Remember in Replit, or I'm sorry, in Python, it's a hashtag. Okay, so remember this for the title is what I want to show up in the tab of the browser. So let me change that and run it. Notice in the body it says my HTML project, but we're wondering where is this title? Well, on the far right, let's open this page in a new browser. And you can see at the top of right here, there is the tab. It says Pixar's Up. Okay. So let me zoom back out of that. All right. So I'm going to HTML images. And I'm going to change this paragraph to the H1 tag. So over here in the browser, it says HTML project. I'm going to run it, which updates it. And now I have HTML images. Okay. I'm not going to put any like text content on this page. I want to just focus on images. In future projects, we'll have some kind of topic I'll give you and you'll get to design, but let's focus on the image tag. Okay, so it starts like this, okay? And then let's take a look at it again in the lesson. Okay, notice we have to give the source where the image is and a description using alt. So SRC stands for the source, and alt stands for basically alternate text if they can't load it. Okay, so SRC equals, and then two quotes. So I'll fill that in a minute, and alt equals quotes. Okay. By the way, this is a self-closing tag. There is no closing tag for image. Like see H1, there's this /H1 tag. Image tags do not have a closing tag. It's just this lone tag. Okay, so this first one, I went to Google and did Pixar up. Let me click here where it says more images. And here's a bunch of images. Now, for a web image, I'm going to click on this one. Like, let's say that's kind of fun. And to get the web URL, you right-click on the image, and then take a look at this. Copy link address. No, that's not the one. Copy image. No, that's what I want to copy the image address. So where is this image? The link address is, I believe, the web page where the image shows up. We want the image address. So I'm going to copy that, and I'm going to paste that right in here. And notice sometimes that is really long. So it might stretch out, way beyond the page. Okay, the alt, I'm going to go back there, and let me go back and remember it's Carl and Russell are the two names. So I'm going to say Carl and Russell as my text description. Okay, let me run this. And there's my web page. Let me go to the browser view. And there is my first image. Okay, now if I want to resize this, let me go here to the image. And notice in Google it says it's 1024 by 759. So I'm writing that down right now. And basically I'm going to take half of those. So half of 1024 is 512. And half of 760 roughly is 380. So what I'm going to do is let me show you in the lesson. I took a screenshot. To change the size of an image, you can say width equals and height equals. You can also use the style type, which I'll teach styling in another lesson, but let's use the simpler width equals quote and height equals quote. So let me go back to that image tag, and let's try that out. Width equals quote. Half of 1024 is 512. So I'm basically cutting them both in half. Height equals quote. Let's go with 380. Okay. So let's see if this works. So now notice when I run it, it's half the size. So let me go back to this browser. So see how that image is kind of large. Let me refresh the browser, and now it's half the size. So that's pretty cool. Notice I divided my numbers by half. You can, do it. If you want to 3/4 the size, you multiply the width and height by 0.75. If you want to enlarge the image, you multiply it by a number bigger than 1. So that's kind of cool. Okay, so there's how you make a web image. Okay, let me go to my file list, and let me show you how you make a local image. Okay, so let me I'll go down a couple lines. So there's my first image tag. I'm going to add a folder to my file list over here and call it images. Okay, so to save a list on a website, you need to save it in this file list. So right now on my website, I have index and a folder called images. Okay, so let me go to Pixar's up and let's see if I can find Doug the dog. Okay, so he's awesome. I'm going to get a picture of him. Now, to load an image into your website, you want to save it to your desktop. So let's see, that one's kind of fun. So instead of copying the image address, I'm going to save the image. Okay, and notice I'm on a Mac right now, but same thing works in Windows. I can, let me go to my desktop and notice it's called Doug_up. So I'm just going to call it Doug and save it. Okay, so I've saved the Doug image to my desktop. On a Windows computer, it might be saved to downloads, that type of thing. Now let me go back to my website and let me add a file to my website. So it's actually, let me go to upload a file. So I click the three dots and upload file, and it takes me to my file locator. On my Mac, here's Doug. And yep, that's the one I want. Okay, and notice there I go. I have Doug.jpg in my website now. So I'm going to make another image tag. And remember, source equals quotes, and alt equals quotes, and Doug the dog is my. Okay. What's interesting about image source, the source is I'm not going to use this whole web address. I'm going to use this simple address. So in my website, I look up here and notice it's called Doug.jpg. What we found in recent years, if the JPEG is all caps, in Replit, this must match exactly. So if I named it uppercase DUG, I'd have to make that exactly the same. So look how much simpler that is. There is the web address. Notice it's really long, makes my tag look kind of ugly, and this one's kind of simple. Let me run this. And there we go. There's Doug loaded on my website. He's a decent size. I'm not going to resize him, but if I wanted to, I could. Let's go to this web browser and hit refresh. And there's Doug. Now notice he's right next to him, right next to the first one. The reason that one is it was underneath is my web browser window was too small. If I want to add a line break between the two, I can use a paragraph tag, or let's try a BR. Let's see what that does. BR means line break. And notice, okay, now he's underneath. So the BR tag's handy. Let me refresh this. And now Doug the dog is underneath. So here is a web address. Here's a web image. This one, notice the source is this really long URL. I resized it using width and height. And I gave the alternate text tag. This one is much easier and cleaner because this is a local image. Okay. Normally, to clean up a website, we're going to have multi-page websites. You put images in an image folder. So let me drag this Doug into here, and notice you can see it's kind of nested. Notice how Doug's indented, and if I hit this arrow now, Doug, you can see is in there. Now let's look closely. If I run this page again, I get a broken image, and notice the alternate text is next to it. So this is saying, hey, I'm supposed to give an image called Doug the dog, but I can't find it. So what's going on now is the address is wrong. I have to fix this. Notice it says doug.jpg. If there's nothing in front, that assumes it's on the same level of the website as index, which it's not. It's in an images folder. So the way to do that is images/Doug. So this says, hey, the source, go look in the images folder and find this doug.jpg file. So let's see if that works. Let me refresh it and run it, and there Doug the dog image shows up. Okay, so let me refresh that here, and there we go. So generally, what we do is put all our images in one folder just to clean up the website, and then my web pages are out separately. Okay, the last thing I want to show you is how do I link this image. I'm going to link the Doug image, but you can do others. How do I link it to, so if they click on Doug, it takes us to a web page? Well, think of it as I just need to frame this Doug image or this element right here with the anchor tag A. So I'm going to do ahref equals quotes. And then on the other side, I'm going to do the closing tag. Okay. And as in Codecademy, sometimes it says give 2 spaces and do it like so. By the way, all these 3 could be on one line, but by doing this with an indent, it's kind of cleaner. Okay. So let me go back to Google and go back. And let's see, here we go. I want to get this Wikipedia page. So I find something I want to link to. I'm going to copy the URL and go to my web page. And in the href for the anchor tag, I'm going to type in the URL of that. So with these URLs, this is the image address, and this is a web address of a page. So let me run this. Okay, now if I click on Doug, it takes me to the website. By the way, I've found to go back within this Replit window, you have to refresh the page to get back there. Sometimes when you click on links in this Replit window, the link doesn't always work. So go up to the far right and say open in a new tab and try it in this window. Notice if I click on this image, there's no anchor tag around it, so it doesn't go anywhere. But if I click on Doug, here comes the Wikipedia page. So I can link my images anywhere I want simply by framing them within the anchor tag. So here's the opening anchor tag, it tells me where to go. Here's the closing anchor tag, and between those is my image tag. So this image I could have also framed with an anchor tag, but I'll let you do that in your project. Okay, so in summary, I've shown you how to do images. Here's an image. We call this a web image. It's stored on the web. This is a local image stored in my website. Generally, you want to store images on your website because see this long address? I don't know where this is, but at some point, this website might close down and go away, and all of a sudden, I don't have that image anymore. So good practice is to save the images to your desktop or downloads, and then use this 3 upload file to your website. Okay, so for this project, what I want you to do is make a project, somewhat like mine, but try having 4 images on your page and make at least 2 of them link to the web on the using the URL, and then save at least 2 of them into an images folder on your website. And then at least 1 of your images, and you might want to do all 4, but link them to another page on the web, like I did with the Doug image, where I clicked on Doug and up came the Wikipedia page. Okay, so this is project 7.02. Give it a shot. Okay, thanks for tuning in. This is Mr. Hicks for Computer Science Principles. Have a great day.